After a boy named Bailey finds out he's a mutant, he immediately goes with his parents to Professor Xavier's school to find out what his superpowers are. However, all of Bailey's excitement gets crushed when he hears Beast say that his power is basically auto-explode one time and then die. Bailey now gets upset, realizing he has the worst superpower of all time, but after deciding to leave, thinking that at least he still had his parents, a sentinel suddenly steps on them by accident and kills them, crushed instantly. Beast quickly runs to comfort the boy, and after the sentinel is stopped, Bailey starts living at Xavier's school. Jubilee now begins showing Bailey around, and he even meets several other students like Rags and her brother Riches, who could turn anything into solid gold. Beast then tries to cheer Bailey up by assigning him as assistant to some super mutant teams, but everything goes wrong when he gets traumatized by the missions and basically fails in every group. Bailey then goes into a small forest to mourn his situation until Rags suddenly appears and says he can vent to her, but after Bailey shares how depressed he feels about everything that happened, Rags reveals that she was actually Mystique in disguise all along and quickly kisses him, promising to contact him soon while saying she knows what it's like to be different from the other X-Men. Bailey is now left completely shocked for several days until he finally receives Mystique's message, which was simply asking him to eliminate Professor Xavier. And even though Bailey just ignores the message and tries to move on with his life, he eventually gets kidnapped and taken to Magneto and his team. Magneto then tries to convince Bailey to use his power to kill Xavier, saying it's the only way he'll ever have any meaning in life, soon after knocking him out and sending Bailey back to the school. Sometime later, after Bailey gets into a fight with Riches during a mission for being called useless, the two get scolded by Storm and then taken to speak with Professor Xavier, who now scolds them to better control their emoticons. Bailey then quickly asks him what is the real meaning of all that, and Xavier calmly tells him there isn't one, and that all they have to do is try to be good people. Bailey, now comforted by Xavier's words, decides to reveal Magneto's plan. However, while Bailey is explaining everything that happened, Xavier starts choking and ends up dying anyway, revealing that Riches was also part of the plan and decided to kill Xavier by making him choke on gold. Several years then pass, and while Bailey ages and sinks deeper into depression, Riches uses his powers to take control of the entire world. But after Bailey receives an invitation to Riches' big birthday party, he realizes his life was never going to get any better and decides he should go and do one last thing. And as soon Bailey arrives at the party building, he immediately goes to the top floor to meet Riches, who says he only invited Bailey so he could finally admit how much of a failure and loser he is. But Bailey now quickly grabs his head and says he still had one last thing, finally using his power and blowing himself up with Riches and his empire.